Men and women all over the globe are joining now for the best videos on the internet.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
I'm doing my part.
And I'm doing my part too.
They're doing their part. Are you? Click the subscribe button now to become a member of the Action Pack. Would you like to know more?
Hello everyone and welcome. Do you like Spider-Man? Well, too bad, because he's not in this movie. We
are Mike's After Action Reviews.
We are
Mike's After Action Reviews.
We are Mike's After Action Reviews. We're going to have to work on that one.
Yeah.
And this is the After Action Review for Venom: The Last Dance. So, as always, guys, I have my notes. We have our guest, and we are going to start off with the film's production. Tommy Boy, let me know if you need to interrupt me and have any interesting thoughts to say as we go along here, but I'm going to try to get through this fairly quickly. And we also have the clock running that you guys can't see, but it's actually sitting right next to Tommy Boy's face on the right-hand side of the screen for me. So, anyway, so as far as the production companies, we had so we always go over the top three. There was more, but I'm not sure exactly their involvement. I think it has to do with distribution. So whoever distributes the films in their local area is also listed, but they don't actually have anything to do with creating the movie. But the first one was Columbia Pictures, which is most well known for Saturday Night, which came out in 2024, and then most recently, other than those two, than this movie and that one, made Afraid from 2024. Now, honestly, I
don't know. Yeah,
I don't know
either one of
any
those.
of those. I saw a trailer for Saturday Night. I thought it looked good, but I don't know. I haven't seen Afraid either. And then we have ARAD Productions, and I'm going to tell you something. ARAD Productions has a hill to climb when it comes to public relations. It probably did, at least when it first started out, because ARAD sounds a lot like another word, and I'm just going to say it because I don't care. It sounded like Arab, all right? And
Yep.
It's just like a weird thing. Anyway, ARAD Productions, and here's another reason why it has an uphill climb, is it's most well known for Borderlands from 2024, which made like $50,000 or something. Like, it was so bad. It was I think it was the biggest video game movie flop ever in human history. Like, it was just, even movies in the Middle Ages didn't flop as bad as this one. Yeah, and then they also most recently did Uncharted in 2022. We had Hutch Parker Entertainment, most well known for Logan from 2017, and then in a weird reversal or changing of pace, they also most recently did Lyle Crocodile in 2022. Yeah, so those are the production companies. I know Columbia Pictures is great. The IMDb, everything that we do is based off IMDb, so IMDb is the they're the ones telling us what they're most noted for. I liked Logan. I did not see Uncharted. I did not see Borderlands. I didn't see anything else except for Logan. I liked it. I didn't like the ending. Yeah, so, I mean, that's it. But I think Columbia Pictures, for sure, really great production company. I don't know about ARAD or Hutch Parker. So, any thoughts on that?
Lyle Crocodile was good. Logan was great. Borderlands, or not Borderlands. I was actually wanting to watch that one. I didn't know it actually already came out, so that's bad. But what was the other one that they made other than Borderlands? Oh, Uncharted. I watched Uncharted too. That one was pretty good too. So yeah, they got some decent ones under their belt.
Yeah, and I will say, so Borderlands, though, it has like a, actually 1 second, I'll take a real quick aside here. Borderlands, just for Tommy Boy's entertainment, on Rotten Tomatoes, Borderlands has a 10%.
Oof.
10% with critics, 51% with audiences.
That's fine. They were hating
audience-
on. Yeah.
Yeah, so top critics 3%, verified audience 51, and all audiences 36. And people are surprised. People that I've talked to are surprised it got that much. So, yeah. Okay,
wow.
so then moving on to the writing staff here. Surprisingly, actually, I'm surprised by the writers here. So, this was written by Kelly Marcel, who's most well known for Saving Mr. Banks from 2013, and then also most recently did The Changeling, which was a series, and she wrote 8 episodes in 2023. And then the second writer is the most surprising thing, and that was Tom Hardy, who
Oh wow.
Yep, most well known as a writer, most well known for Venom, Let There Be Carnage in 2021, and then his most recent writing credit, other than these movies, was Taboo, which was a series with 8 episodes. He was the creator of that series. So if you watch that, he's also an actor in the series, but he was the creator of that series, and that was in 2017. And from what I've seen of it, it actually looks like it was pretty good. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got a funny story, and I'm going to try not to take up too much time here because we're on the clock, but Saving Mr. Banks from 2013, I went and saw that movie just before I left for the Army. Just before I left for the Army with my girlfriend and her mother. And that movie is about Disney, like Walt Disney, but it's not. The promotional material made it look like it was going to be this fun movie about how they made Mary Poppins, and it turns out that Mary Poppins was like inspired by an actual woman. It was a book series. Oh. Yeah, she was like a real lady. But actually what the movie was about is how the writer of Mary Poppins, her father was like a terrible, terrible drunk. And it's all these flashbacks of her life about how terrible her father was a drunk, and then he dies. And my girlfriend and her mom, my girlfriend at the time, her dad was this terrible, terrible drunk. And then, and then he killed himself. And, and so like we left the theater, and her mom cried while watching the movie. And like, I thought it was going to be this fun movie because of the promotional.
Yeah.
All of us thought it was going to be like this, we'll go see it, it'll be a fun time. And it was like this terrible thing. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't know what this movie was going to be. So that's my feelings about Saving Mr. Banks. But I will tell you, it was a good movie. I haven't seen The Changeling. Venom, Let There Be Carnage, as far as Tom Hardy's writing, wasn't so great. He doesn't have very many writing credits, but I do know that Taboo looked good. I didn't see the movie. If you guys know about Taboo, I didn't see the series. If you guys know about Taboo and anything else that Tom Hardy or these people have written, let me know in the comments section down below. But yeah, so that's that. I don't know if you have any thoughts on. I like that Tom Hardy is a writer. It's actors writing things. I think that's interesting. Yeah, I think that's interesting. Okay, and then this was directed by, another interesting thing is that this was directed by Kelly Marcel, who has no other directorial credits. So this is her first time directing a movie. So we'll get into that. I'm going to ask you what you think of all of that in just a second, but I do want to say the music. So the music was by Dan Deacon, who's most well known for Hustle from 2022, and the most recent thing that he's had was What's Next? The Future with Bill Gates, which is a series with 5 episodes. He did 5 episodes. I don't know how many episodes the series has in total, but he did 5 episodes. And that came out earlier in 2024. So what do you think? We already kind of talked about the production companies. What do you think about the writing and the director? Not the movie itself, but as far as the past works and at least the potential that the film had. How was it set up?
Yeah, that's pretty solid, especially knowing that Tom Hardy had a little say so on what he was actually gonna be talking about. So like that's pretty good. And yeah, it was a good solid backing for it all.
No problem. We just had a technical difficulty where everything went bonkers for a second. All right, so yeah, I like when they when you have like a person who's really invested in the character and they and does a really good job of assuming the role of a character, and then they have a say in what the character does. So
Absolutely.
I do like that. If you want an example of not doing that, where it really gets messed up, watch Mark Hamill in the latest Star Wars movies. He outright said, "It doesn't matter what I think. What matters is money." And then we have stuff like Deadpool, where Ryan Reynolds basically is the driving force behind what makes those movies, and he's great. So that's why those movies are good. I will say this. So I do just want to kind of ask you about this. So how did you think that Kelly Marcel did? Did you see anything that you would attribute to being an amateur director, basically with someone with no directorial credits in the movie?
Not really. No, it seemed. No, yeah, it seemed like the pretty. About like any other.
Yeah, I think that she did a good job for being first
time and it being the third of a series, so like of trilogies. Like she did pretty good.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's get into then. Sorry, I always ask this. What did you think of the music? Just for everybody at home, I always say so. It's like. Basically, I think that music is either excellent, like average, which is fine, and then really bad. Okay, I don't think that there's like an above average or below average here. And average is basically, I don't remember it. It didn't do anything bad. It was fine. I don't even remember. And then excellent is like, bum, bum, ba ba bum, 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 bum. And everybody knows what that's from, Lord of the Rings, because it's so amazing. And then bad would be like, I don't know, putting rap music into an Assassin's Creed game because the main protagonist is for some reason a black samurai. So, it's like offensive to the people watching it. So, So like, where does it fall? Did you remember any of the music?
Yeah. No, like it was definitely average. Like it was just all in the background, just kind of set the mood for certain situations. So yeah, it was definitely an average.
Yeah, nothing offensive. I agree totally. Nothing offensive. The guy did a fine job. It was just okay though. The Action Pack needs you. You can support Mike's After Action Reviews on our Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Every quarter, once we've made at least $200, we're going to be giving away 10% of our earnings from Patreon in a giveaway over on our Twitch, so go check that out as well. You can find all of the links for everything in the description and in the pinned comment down below. Do your part. Support the pack. The Action Pack. Okay, so then let's get into the plot. So, the movie, all of this again coming from IMDb, the movie's runtime was 1 hour and 49 minutes. We have two plot summaries. I'm going to read them both because they're both fairly short. Eddie and Venom on the run face pursuit from both worlds. As circumstances tighten, they're compelled to make a heart-wrenching choice that could mark the end of their symbiotic partnership. Okay, and then this next one is directly from Sony Pictures. In Venom: The Last Dance, Tom Hardy returns as Venom, one of Marvel's greatest and most complex characters, for the final film in the trilogy. And Eddie and Venom are on the run, hunted by both of their worlds, and with the net closing in, the duo are forced into a devastating decision that will bring the curtains down on Venom and Eddie's last dance. Okay, so what did you think of the plot summaries there?
Yeah, it's definitely pretty spot on with everything that happened. Definitely. So it was good summarization of it.
Yeah, and for everybody at home saying, "Well, it's the plot summary. What is there?" There's plot summaries that we read, and it's like that's not what the movie's about. 'Cause, 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 Yeah, okay. So, do you have any thoughts? Do you want me to go first, or do you have any thoughts that just about the plot in general that you'd like to go over?
Uh, no, not really. No,
No, okay.
yeah, it's
Okay, well, I have some notes, and then you can kind of comment on as we go through. So, this is a buddy cop movie. It has buddy cop character development and humor.
Yeah.
I think some people, I didn't watch any reviews, but I heard, just as you go through, I'm dealing with like entertainment news all the time. I heard people say basically, if you liked the first two, and then it's more like the first one, then you're gonna like this one. And
Yeah.
I liked the first one, and it really does go more into the buddy cop aspect. It really leans into that, and the characters, from the standpoint of being friends, trying to overcome this whatever adversity. I liked, and I thought it was a positive thing, and something the movie did do is expand the symbiote lore. We have seen in the promotional material Null, who is also known as the King in Black. And stay tuned for the miscellaneous section because I have some interesting things to say about him and what he means. But anyway, yes, Null, the King in Black, very cool character, like him. Talks about the home planet of the symbiotes and also gets into some government knowledge of the symbiotes, some things that the government knows that we didn't know that they knew. So now we know that they know, and they know that we know that they know. No, of the symbiote. So I liked that. And I thought that, and so okay. I keep saying I like it, and we're going to get into what we actually think about the quality of the movie. But these are aside from me liking it, the movie does this. Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, though, what it is Null, the god of the symbiotes and the creator of the symbiotes. Spoiler alert. This is not really actually a spoiler. There's some things I'm going to get into that go into the background of the character that aren't even in the movie, so they're not spoilers, but I'm going to get into some detail here. But anyway, so Null is the creator of the symbiotes. He wants to be free, and he's very bad. And you don't want him to be free. So there's this thing called the Codex, and we're not going to get into exactly what that is or what that means exactly. If he gets the Codex, he's going to be freed. And he's off somewhere in space, but he's trying to find the Codex, and it's here on Earth, and that. So that's the whole subject of the movie, is we're trying to not let Null get the Codex, because we don't want him to get free. Can I just ask you, what did you think of the humor?
Oh yeah, that's actually one of my sustains, really. So
Okay,
yeah, it was definitely spot on. I loved all the humor in it, especially
Yeah.
the horse.
Yeah, so the humor, I thought it was good. I actually liked that it makes, and we're not going to say the lines, okay, but makes fun of the MCU, which is always great. It's always great. It's not that I hate the MCU and I want the MCU to be bashed in a movie, but it's just nice when you can make fun of yourself, even if it's something good. I really love the first Avengers movie, but there's been times throughout the MCU where they've said like, the Avengers, or in the Deadpool movies when he makes fun of the X-Men or something. It's not that I don't like the X-Men, it's just nice to be able to make fun of yourself. So I thought that was good. There's actually jokes that reference Tom Hardy in real life. I don't know if you remember the one I'm talking about. Yeah, I'll tell you after the review, but there's like one particular joke where basically Tom Hardy does not actually look at the camera and say something to the audience, but realistically what he's doing is he's talking directly to the audience in the real world, and he says something and it makes a joke about himself. Yeah. There's also a dance sequence similar to similar to what they did in the second movie. Yeah, and so so there's some good humor, okay? I will say that the movie was fast-paced. There's one time in the movie where it kind of slows down just a little bit. That part was short, and it had a purpose. There was some character development that happened there, so it didn't feel like nothing was happening. It just felt like it was slowing a little bit. But it always, to me anyway, it seemed to be that the plot was always moving at least at a good pace, and then a lot of the time actually it was really moving.
Yeah.
And the last thing I would say is that there are some heartfelt moments. How effective the heartfelt moments are going to depend on how much you get into the movie. I got hit a little bit, especially because I know maybe a little bit more about the characters and I'm into the comic lore and all that. But there were some heartfelt moments. And so all of those things come together. And yeah. So what did you have any thoughts though on anything that I said, or any more things about the plot that you want
A lot of it I was gonna go over with my sustains and improves. Yeah, like
Okay,
everything you were
sure.
talking about was pretty much on mine.
Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, how did you think that the plot, at least, okay, so this is again trying to rein it in here so we can understand. We do the reviews in parts. This is for the audience. We do the reviews in parts, characters acting, the plot, and then miscellaneous section, and the production. We've already said the production was great, CGI and all that stuff is great. Okay, the potential for the movie was great. As far as conceptually, what the story it's trying to tell, what did you think?
Yeah, it was like you were saying, like it was fast paced, it was quick, got to the point, and then it was over.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it was good. It had little character building there, and then yeah, I was going to talk about the emotional heartstrings part of it too. Yeah, it definitely hit some emotions on it.
Yeah.
And the comedy just really, yes, was really good on it.
So I don't think that it's perfect. I will definitely say, so as far as the writing and what they're actually trying to do here, I like the idea. As far as the execution, I think that it was flawed. I mean, it wasn't like, see, everybody does this thing where they say like it's either the greatest thing ever, or they say, oh, it's crap. It's just crap. I think that's stupid. More often things are in the middle somewhere. And I think that this is more towards the middle, but I still think that it's more towards the good side than it is the bad, for me anyway, and we'll get into the final review score. But I think that it was like a flawed execution of a pretty solid idea. There was one thing that there was a couple of things that I think, excuse me, I'm getting a call here, text messages, I'm going to turn that off. There was one thing that a couple of things that I think didn't really work, and we'll get into that as we move forward here. I love my awesome Support the Troops Stormtrooper mug. Do you know where you can get a mug just like this one, but different? Bottega Krua. Bottega Krua is an Italian born and raised artisan trained at the Academy of Fine Arts in Venice, Italy. Since 2010, Bottega Krua has offered unique handmade and hand-painted ceramics, pottery, and other artistic products. You can find these products at her Etsy store by following the link down below. She also takes custom orders, but they may take longer to ship because she has to make them after you order them. So, go check out Bottega Krua to get yourself an awesome mug just like this one, or the ones you've been seeing behind me as this ad has been going on. Remember, guys, supporting our partners is supporting the pack, the Action Pack. But okay, so then moving on to the characters and acting. I'll run through these real quick, and then we'll talk about a couple of notes that we have. A couple of notes that I have, and then you can kind of carte blanche talk about what you want here. So we have Eddie Brock, or Venom, played by Tom Hardy. Now, Tom Hardy is most well known from Inception in 2010, and then most recently did The Bike Riders in 2023. We have Strickland, who's played by, okay, God of comic books, do not strike me down here, but this guy's name is Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Oh, yeah.
Do not, please don't be upset with me, guys. His name is very complicated.
He's a great actor, too. I really like him.
He really is. He's most well known for the movie that he did that I think is just amazing, 12 Years a Slave from 2013. And then also most recently did The Life of Chuck. Then we have Dr. Teddy Payne, played by Juno Temple. and she is most well known for the movie Atonement from 2007, and then most recently was in the series. So it's a series and she was in 10 episodes of Fargo from 2023 to 2024. And then our last, not our last character, but Martin, who's played by Rhys Ifans, most well known for The Amazing Spider-Man from 2012, and then most recently was in The House of the Dragon, which is a series he was in 13 episodes from 2022 to 2024. And then our last character here is Detective Mulligan, played by Stephen Graham, most well known for This Is England in 2006 and 1,000 Blows, which was a series he was in 2 episodes in 2024. So, do you have any thoughts on just like the acting or the characters in general? How did you think the acting was?
The acting was really well. They did really well with everything, so they were definitely professional. But I did not realize that was Rhys Ifans, Martin. I did not realize that was him. Like how they had him all done up and everything, and all. I didn't realize that was him. Wow.
I think the thing that I remember him the most for is The Replacements and a couple other movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. That's what I was thinking too. I love him.
He always plays like either like a drunk guy or some kind of hippie guy or something, and kind of like a real like not a jerk, but really like he doesn't take any crap from anybody and he'll fight with you or whatever. Yeah. And then it's funny because his most recent career was that he was in House of the Dragon, where he's like very serious. Yeah. Yeah. Here though, he plays like the father in this hippie family, and the hippie family kind of serves to move the plot forward. Move the plot forward, and that's where the movie starts to slow down just a little bit and take a breath as we do some character development. And my son is in my office. That's what you're hearing behind me. And then, or no, never mind. It's my wife, and she's whispering. But okay, I'll say. So any other things that you want to say though specifically about any of the acting or?
No, yeah, they all did really well. They did really well.
Okay, so I will say. So we have Eddie Brock, and I think we get into some exploration of the character, and we get a little bit more of the Eddie Venom friendship than we did in the second movie. Basically, you know what I would recommend is watch the first movie. If you've never seen these movies, watch the first movie, watch the second movie, or watch the third movie, and then just realize that in the second movie, Eddie killed some people and he had to go on the run. And then and then you don't have to watch that one. That one, I don't think that it was as bad as people say it was, but it was.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the second one.
Yeah, I think that this was better than the second one, but so they have the friendship. There's also, they get into something that we haven't seen so much before, and that's kind of the sad aspects of the characters, where it's like, being Venom and having the Venom suit, it's lonely, it's because not just that you're a superhero who's wanted by enemies and you have all this superhero stuff you have to do, but also Venom has to eat people. Like maintaining the Venom suit and the dealing with the things that you have to deal with, that must suck sometimes, and then we had Strickland. I just want to say, so Strickland was kind of this hard. So this is IO4 character. He's kind of this hard-nosed. I'll say it. I'm gonna bleep it out probably, or maybe not. I don't know if I forget, but he's this hard-nosed. And throughout the whole movie, there's this interesting thing where you can kind of tell that he's like a good guy, and he works for the government, and he's like this, he's kind of he represents kind of the government's role in the movie. And there's kind of this idea, like a question in your mind, like, will there be a redemption, or is he just going to be another bad guy? And I won't spoil that for you, but that was kind of interesting seeing. Is it interesting? It's like, it's not like, I'm so interested in this, but it was just, that was kind of that plot element of, is this going to be a redemption character, or is it going to be the character that like gets killed in the end because he was a jerk the whole movie, Yeah. And seeing that, One thing that I will say, so Juno Temple, I mentioned this. She plays the doctor. She's studying the symbiotes. I will say this. I was disappointed. Okay. This is like an aside. I don't know what's going on with Juno Temple. Maybe she had an eating disorder and she tried to get herself fixed. And now she's okay. Because I've heard people say, like, oh, I had an eating disorder, I got myself fixed, and then their weight changes a lot. But Juno Temple, I'm going to put a picture of Juno Temple up here. And she was like a good figured, I mean, I'm not talking about like some super thick lady or anything, or you know, some super skinny lady, but she was just like a good figured, beautiful woman. She looks like she's anorexic.
Well, that's.
Like, I don't know if she isn't.
That was the plan. Like, with how she was feeling about her brother and everything, and how that situation went down, now she's working herself to death, trying to.
So you think that that's part of filming this film?
I think it really was. I think it was. I really do.
Like, she lost weight for this movie? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just saying that she's a good actress. She did a good part, but I mean, let me know in the comment section down below if you guys know anything. Sometimes people have like an overeating disorder or they're bulimic, and then they get off of that and they lose some weight. Sometimes people have anorexia and then they get away from being anorexic and then they gain weight.
Yeah.
And then sometimes people are just like normal people and start getting anorexic and they start to look like Juno Temple before and after. I mean, really, I'm concerned for her health. Put me at ease. I hope that it's true that she lost the weight for the movie, but put me at ease in the comment section down below, please, guys. She's a great actress. Yeah, anyway. Detective Mulligan, though, I will tell you, he was disappointing. I was actually really disappointed because they depicted him in the promotional material, and if you know anything about the character from the comics, he's nothing like the comic book character. He doesn't even look like the comic book character, and they do nothing with him like the comic book character. You could have removed him specifically from the movie and had maybe like a generic character play his role for the small amount of stuff that he does, and it would have been fine. I was really disappointed. Because, to be very clear, in the comic book, so you already know, he gets a symbiote. You saw it in the second movie, and then they showed in the promotion material here. The symbiote that he becomes is one of the most unique and important and actually, to tell you the truth, powerful, one of the most powerful symbiotes in the comics. People just say that outright, like, he is the most powerful symbiote in the comics. And they did nothing like that with his character. It's a completely different situation. I was really disappointed. Acting, so I will say the acting was great. I actually didn't find any of the characters offensive except for Detective Mulligan, who I didn't find necessarily offensive, but I was disappointed. Yeah. So, I mean, you agree? Any last thoughts on character?
No, definitely agree with all that.
Hi, it's Travis with Oscar Mike Radio. Oscar Mike Radio is a military and veterans podcast and show about those who serve our country and those who have served and are doing amazing things.
You know what? Let's take more. And then they had that fantastic
managing those logistics and getting things where they need to be on time.
I mean, come on.
Want to learn more? Want to follow the show? Go to OscarMikeRadio.com or the link below. We're Oscar Mike, and we're mission in flight. Thank you.
All right, so I've kind of been sucking up all the air out of the parachute here. You said that you had some stuff on the miscellaneous section. So, do you want to go first?
Nope, you go.
Okay, that's fine. Venom bonding with animals.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah. He bonds with in the promotional material. He bonds with a horse. He bonds with a fish. He bonds with a frog.
Yes.
And I was like, think of the potential of a Venom frog.
Yep.
The horse scene was as good as you thought it was going to be. I really liked that. That was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I thought that was cool. One thing is, so I have one more like really positive one, and then I have a negative miscellaneous section thing. But before the really positive one, I'm going to sandwich this in here. We see some symbiotes, and you've seen this in the trailers a little bit, but we see some symbiotes in action.
Yes.
I want to say, oh, go on.
Yeah, it's absolutely awesome with all the cool new moves that they could do, and loved it.
So yeah, without getting into spoilers, we see some symbiotes in action. It is cool. I want to say that it's very cool. Comic book people and people who like even if you haven't read so many of the comic books, knowing what the lore is more of a common thing than actually having read the comics. But if you're somebody who's really read the comics or knows about the lore, I'm going to say that this was cool. It was great to see. But it may be not cool enough. And the reason that I say that is Venom is so powerful. He fights, in the comics, he fights Zeus. Okay, and survives. I mean, he doesn't really like fight Zeus. He takes a hit from Zeus and survives, which is an amazing thing. Basically, Venom is the type of character that can fight characters like the Hulk when he's fully enraged and he's not nerfed by the MCU directors and writers. He can fight... No, seriously. I mean, yeah. He can fight Thor at full strength. Like Prime Thor, when he's as powerful as you've ever seen him, he fights him, and I mean, maybe he doesn't like dominate those guys or beat them really, but it's a fight. So when you see certain things,
he really stands his ground with the big hitters.
Yeah, and so when you see some things, you're like, why are they not showing more aspects of what he can do? Why aren't they doing some more cooler stuff with him and other symbiotes that we see throughout these series? So it's still cool. What we get is cool, but it's still like, it's like when you saw it's like in the what was it, the 70s or 80s when they had the Hulk show, and you had Lou Ferrigno painted green, and you're and you're like, oh wow, cool, this is the Hulk, and it's the Hulk, but people who read the comics were probably like, I mean, it is the Hulk and it is cool, but. Come on. Can we and then you have the MCU movies where the Hulk is jumping around, and then you're like, wow, this is real. Okay, so I feel like we are not quite at Lou Ferrigno painted green, but we're definitely not at MCU Hulk levels here with Venom. So yeah. So the last thing, I know that we've got the time and I'm trying to keep us on time here, but one last thing is Null.
Yes.
He is such a cool character. Now you stop me when let me know, like literally interrupt me and let me know when I start saying things that you have not heard of Null. So he's the big bad guy. He's a very cool character. He's not in the movie very much at all. Okay, this is just an introduction. I think that they're trying to make him like a Thanos. Like he's the big bad. He's the King in Black that's out there somewhere. Okay, there is an MCU connection. So one thing is that to be very fair, the way that he's set up here, it's so cool. He has such a cool MCU connection. Seeing him in the movie makes me go like, oh, the potential. So I really think this is a positive thing. At the same time, I'm like, where are they going to take this? I hope they do the right things here. The Necro Sword used by Gore in the movie Thor: Love and Thunder is the first symbiote, and it was created by Null. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so Null was the god of the black. Before the universe was created, Null was there. Basically the blackness of space before anything was created. Yeah. That was Null. Like Null, he was the god of darkness. And when the Celestials came, he actually went to war with the Celestials. He killed a Celestial, with his powers. And then inside of its head, he made a forge, and he forged this weapon, which is called All Black. He called it All Black. and that the head of the Celestial that where he created All Black became Nowhere, which is from the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. So you have two. Yep. So that Celestial's head, that Celestial was decapitated by Null.
What?
Yeah, and that is how powerful. Yeah, that's how powerful he was. So just seeing him in the movie, and they didn't screw him up. They didn't play it. They didn't show so much of him that it was like some, maybe in a future movie they'll show a lot of him and they'll do it wrong and then we'll all be mad. But here they did it like perfectly, where they teased him and it was like, yes. So it would be cool to see him come back, especially in the MCU, and maybe he reclaims the Necro Sword and starts. So if you see the Necro Sword and how powerful it made Gore, imagine the guy who created that. And he was killing gods. How powerful Null must be. So that was my big thing there. He wears by the way, he also wears armor that is made of symbiote material. So it's kind of like Spawn's armor. It's like a necroplasm armor.
Nice.
Yeah. Okay, so I did have one negative thing. Did you have anything that you wanted to say positive before I kind of went into the negative here?
No, yeah, did pretty good so far.
Okay. I will say that there was one strange kind of plot hole or plot contrivance, however you want to put it. In the movie, there's this thing where Venom and Eddie cannot do a certain thing. No spoilers, but they can't do a certain thing because it'll
alert.
It'll tell the enemies where they are.
Yep.
And a thing happens, and they're just like, and it's the stupidest reason, but Eddie said, well, okay, I'll just say it's Venom, and he says, oh, I'm going to do it anyway. And it's like, wait, but you're the one who even knows about how seriously bad it would be to have we do this and alert the enemy. But they do it anyway, and they do it for the movie, and it was actually bad. Like, it was one thing where I was like, this was the one moment in the movie where I was like, why are they doing this? This is a mistake. Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I mean. That was the one big bad thing.
The people of Atrox City don't understand what it takes to keep them sleeping safely at night. The thin veneer of society masks the darkness that gnaws at the edges of their soft, easy lives. Criminals, the scum of the earth. They're always waiting, hungry at the door. I don the mantle of the cassowary in their name. Without me, there would be chaos, death, and destruction. I am justice. I am order. I am the one who will do what is necessary. I am the Wing. You can read my story in Tales of Nihilism at globalcomics.com.
Do you want to do? So who do you want to go first? So we can move on to our final statement here in the actual after action review part of this. Do you go over your sustains and improves? You want to go first?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, awesome.
So yeah, starting off. So I was super excited to get into the movie and everything, and then so starting off with one of my first sustains, the comedy. As we talked about, like, the comedy was on point with the horse and the dance sequence and just like the whole, I call it like a marriage banter between both of them. Right. Yeah, it was hilarious. Loved every bit of it. And then on the other side, they played with your emotional heartstrings.
Yep.
With
so wait. Okay, is this your second sustain then?
Oh, so yeah, sorry. Yeah, this is my second sustain. They they played with your emotional heartstrings, not quite just once. Like, they played with it a couple times throughout the movie. Like, even when Eddie was dealing with the family and trying to, where he was at his point in life right now, and then at the end, like, the flashbacks of everything, like, it was, really played with emotional heartstrings. I definitely had a tear come out. My second one was definitely all the new symbiotes. Awesome.
Yeah.
They were super cool in this. Loved it. Got to see a bunch of different new things that they could do, and we had both sides of females and males, and just then it was really good. I really enjoyed the new additions to it.
Yep.
So that's all I have for sustains. For improves,
Okay, moving on.
So Null, I feel like the Null was a letdown. Like there was nothing. I was really expecting more from it, but with how the storyline was going, like I understand that we can't throw him into this movie. So hopefully they will have a new movie coming out with him, and it'll be super exciting. But I was definitely looking for like a Null versus Venom fight, but we'll see.
Right.
So my second.
Did you know about? Can I just ask you? Did you know about Null before?
Yeah, we talked about it. Like I didn't know about it until you definitely enlightened me about how awesome he was, and
okay.
So I was super excited about seeing what they was gonna do with him, but like it was very, very minimal.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So my second improve was it just hate to say it, but like it felt kind of plain and predictable.
Yeah.
Like it was just same old story, just done again. But we got some really awesome characters in this, so that definitely helped it out with it. But like it was just the same old story, so it felt kind of plain and predictable. My third improve, all those new symbiotes. They were very short-lived.
Yeah,
and it was
like
very
what they did with them didn't really.
Super disappointing. Super disappointing. Like I was really hoping to see a little more epic battle with all that, but it was so quick. It was sad.
Yeah.
Going into like how actually I kind of wanted to add it to the predictable and plain. Like it was fast paced. Like so this is gonna be what my fourth. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth improve would be like it was super fast paced. And like we talked about, it was trying to keep up with everything. And it just finally we got the slowdown whenever he met the family and actually got to relax. But that's all right, I might hand it to them on this. Yeah, they had it fast paced from the get go until we got to the slowdown part where he meets the family, and then they start playing with emotional heartstrings. That's a perfect timing. That's well done. All right, I might hand him that one. Okay.
Okay.
But I'll hand him that one.
Okay. So you actually liked the slower part.
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
Yeah.
Because like it really gives you time, and you could tell like how he's dealing with everything, and just really looking at his life and what the future's gonna be like and everything. Like I really enjoyed that. So okay, I'll add that to my sustains.
There you go.
My final improve was just how exhausted he was. Like I don't know. So I had the same issue with another movie with this. It's just the main character is just so worn down and exhausted, and you hope this is the last one, because like it's sad to see your main character, your awesome person, just so exhausted with everything that's going on with him.
Yeah.
So like it brings me down where I don't want to see them like this.
Right.
So I didn't care for that.
Yeah.
But that was my final proof. So overall, I did like I said, I liked a lot of it. It was like same old story, but still a good storyline. Awesome characters, awesome comedy, emotional heartstrings, and like it was good. It was a good, solid movie. But I don't know if I just had too high of expectations for it, but I'll just give it an average, unfortunately. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, an average isn't bad. Average isn't bad, you know. All right. Okay. So that's average. Okay. So I'll go into mine here, and I'm going to go maybe a little quicker because I think you kind of covered some of it. So my first sustain, so I have 3 sustains. My first one is the buddy cop interactions. We have the humor and character development. We kind of talked about it before.
Yeah.
I really like that. They lean into it. Even with a so the thing about stuff like this is that even with a movie that's like, which is not this movie, but even in a movie where it's like slow or maybe there's not like a whole lot going on, that good acting, that good character interactions between the people can be really good. I've always said, like, if you filmed, Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton in an elevator, and you just gave him a few, maybe gave him some prompts, and they just started talking. That could be entertaining. So I think that they did that, like Tom Hardy talking to himself as Eddie Brock in Venom for an hour or maybe 30 minutes if they made it like a little short episode or something of a show or something. That would be fun, and that's so that part was good. Okay. One of my sustains, my second sustain, is the third act action. We get the symbiotes. It feels like a little bit like, so the arc of this movie feels almost like the Avengers movies, where you get this idea of a couple of different characters and there's some powers, and you're like, maybe we don't see them in full action, but we kind of get a taste of it, understanding what can happen here. And then in the final, you see Captain America go, Iron Man, you keep him around here, and Thor, you've got the thunder, and Hulk, smash, and okay, the problem with it is that this is we have the Avengers movie at home. So I will temper that by saying the third act actually was good. Again, like I said in miscellaneous section, was it that good?
Yeah.
But it's still a sustain. I just want them to, so it's like a sustain and an improve, but I'm putting it in sustains. Yeah. I want them to improve stuff like this. Okay.
Yes.
I also want to say, and actually this wasn't like listed here, but I also want to say part of the third act is the way that they wrap things up. They kind of set some stuff up with certain things, but then I don't know where they're going to go moving forward from how they ended it. So I'm like, I don't understand that. Which leads me into my third sustain, introducing Null. I get you have to remember though, again, think back to the Avengers movie and imagine if the problem with that they did is that in the Avengers movie, you don't know that Thanos is going to even be in it. And then when we saw it in theaters, at the end, you see Thanos turn his head and smile, and you go, oh my God, that's Thanos. Like we're doing the Avengers Infinity War saga, if you knew from the comics, okay? Here, he's in the promotional material, so you're like, oh, what are they going to do? Well, they're not. They're just introducing him at the end. He's just turning his head at the end and smiling, like, I'm coming for you. Yeah. I'm the big bad guy. So I like that he's here. The big reason I think people are disappointed is because he was in the promotional material. But possibly leading into an MCU villain, that'd be cool. Or possibly like the Sony stuff, keeping it separate and then having him be a big villain for somebody in the future. I don't know who, because
exactly.
Possibly Venom. However, basically the only people that Sony has right now is Venom, Kraven, and Spider-Man, but Spider-Man hasn't been in any Sony standalone movies in a while, so I don't know what's going on with that. Anyway, so the other thing is just like the way they wrapped it up. I don't know how they're going to do everything moving forward because of the way that the characters get wrapped up here. So that could be, it's a positive as far as introducing Null, but at the same time, it's kind of a improve. It's like, it's not even an improve. It's just, I just don't know what they're gonna do. Okay, so then move. Yeah. Oh, go on.
Even
no spoilers, but
like even with the end credit little video, like it still leaves you hanging. Like, okay, what are we gonna do from? What's this even tell us? Like, there's nothing there.
Yeah, it's like the ending of this movie, and the way that even they've said, like, this is the final thing for Venom. Like, this is the final movie for this trilogy here. But it's like, but the end of it sets up other stuff. So how are you gonna have like, you set it up for him to be done, but then also for him to for other characters to come back. So what are you gonna do? Yeah. Anyway, so it was kind of confusing, but I still liked that they introduced Null because he's such a cool character. Okay, so then my improves: make Venom scarier. This is the same problem that they have with the Hulk. The Hulk is a monster. The reason that they need that Thor on the Avengers, other than the fact that he's a great hero and is powerful, the reason that they absolutely need him as a necessity is because he can collar the Hulk. He's the only one that can fight the Hulk. I'm talking about in the comics. Like, the Hulk is legitimately a force so powerful that it's not like... The Hulk is like, there's nothing you could do. If Hulk wanted to kill you, there would be nothing that you could do to stop him. Even if you knew he was coming. You could have a year to prepare. You'd never be ready because he's so powerful, unless you're Thor. You know.
Yeah.
Venom is the same way. Venom is such a powerful, awesome, scary, and he's not just powerful, but he's like a scary skulk in the shadows, predator, eating people even like character. So he should be a little bit more scary. I like the comedy, but at the same time, I wish that there was like comedy between Eddie and him, and then when he turns into Venom, it's like it's time to take care of business. They should maybe depict him as being, a monster, because he is, and just like the Hulk. Okay, my second improve is that the Venom / symbiotes, and I alluded to this, I said this in the miscellaneous section, is that they need to be stronger or show their strength more. There's a little bit more they can do. Big problem with a lot of superhero stuff, and I think that they handle this well in the MCU, where they try to show you this is how strong the characters are. A big problem with, though, in a lot of superhero movies is we see a big super strong guy punch another big super strong guy, or maybe they like grab each other's fists and they're like, and it's like, okay, but how strong are they? Yeah. So here you see them fighting and doing things, and you're wondering, like, okay, so they're battling other superhero people, but, like, how many soldiers in the United States Army, or how many tanks, or how many rocket launchers would it take to kill these things as powerful as they are? You know?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah.
According to this movie, one.
Yeah, so, and then the other biggest, and this is the big one that a lot of people are going to complain about, is no Spider-Man. I don't know what the deal is. They set up Spider-Man in a post-credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home, and I'm really happy with, like, the Null thing, but I don't know what the deal is, and I don't know where Sony's going to go, because they're boxing themselves into a corner, creating a bunch of characters, and not making Spider-Man a part of the universe.
Yeah. I'm actually glad you mentioned it. I thought it was just something I completely missed on that, because I was so lost at the beginning with that. I was like, did I miss a movie? Did they make a movie with Spider-Man and everything? But think about it, they did make a movie with the Venom costume, but that was the Tobey Maguire one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Tobey
so
Maguire.
I'm curious. I'm curious if that's what it is. That's because he was at the very beginning. He talked about the alternate universes and everything, and maybe that was him that went back to the Tobey Maguire movie.
Well, so that was Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of the movie, and this is kind of but it's not really, but because in Spider-Man No Way Home you see him at the bar, and then all of a sudden he gets teleported back to his other universe. In the beginning of the movie starts with him at the bar, and then he gets teleported back, and he's like, "Wait, we're back to our own universe." Okay.
Yeah.
What, like, okay, so how are we going to get? So that, but the problem with it is that Spider-Man is in the MCU universe along with Vulture, but then Vulture got into Morbius's universe. So that means that Venom, we don't know if Venom is in the same universe as Morbius or Vulture. And then even if he is, who's the good guy that they're going to battle? Because these guys are all villains, basically.
Yeah.
And when is Venom going to get the Spider-Man symbol? Because we need to have that happen to really complete the character. But at the same time, this movie kind of sets it up where Eddie Brock retires and gets to ride off into the sunset. Sort of. I mean, you'll have to watch the movie, no spoilers. But yeah, so like no Spider-Man is really a monkey wrench in the gears here. And I'm just wondering, like, what's Sony gonna do? So
what's their plan with this? Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. I'm very glad you did.
But otherwise, guys, I mean, that's that's what we got. So he says average. My final statement, or sorry, my final review score though is going to be, I think this was 1 thumb up, above average. I liked it a little bit more. I think that it was one of those movies where it's like, I don't know exactly where they're going, but it got me excited enough for something more. At the same time, this doesn't feel like it was made to necessarily... Like, there's movies that you can see, and it's like all you're trying to do is set up another movie. This doesn't feel like all it's trying to do is set up a movie. It feels a little bit more natural than that. But at the same time, it's like, I can definitely see where you're going to maybe do something in the future here. I don't know I'm confused about what they're going to do.
No idea what they're going to do.
And I also this movie is basically carried by Tom Hardy and his acting and stuff as Venom and Eddie Brock simultaneously. So I like it. I liked it. So I'm going to give it, like I said, above average, not amazing. It's definitely flawed. I would say like a mid-tier above average too. It's not like reaching into excellent. I don't think that it's falling down into average for me. I definitely can see where I'm saying I can definitely see where other people feel that way. So it's not bad on you to feel that way. I don't know what's up with critics, because critics are saying that it's like a 30%. Rotten Tomatoes said like 70 something. So I definitely think that you and I are both feeling the same way that the audience is feeling. I just liked it a little bit more. So yeah. But yeah, that's all we've got today, guys. So make sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. You're going to see a little outro video here. But we really appreciate you watching, and God bless you all. And have a good day. Don't forget to check me out on Twitch and join the Discord, where you can voice chat with me while I live stream, and you won't be recorded or anything on YouTube and Twitch, so that's pretty cool. You can also find me on Facebook and Instagram. If you like to read, you can see my after-action reports on my blog. And if you are interested, you can get some merch from my spring store. The links for everything are in the description below.